Did you know there are parts of the world where airplanes simply won't fly? It's not just about tall mountains or bad weather. It goes much deeper than that. From secretive government restrictions to natural wonders that defy technology, there's a whole hidden world shaping the way planes navigate our skies. So, buckle up, because today we're uncovering why some places are off limits to air travel. Have you ever glanced at your flight's route on the in-flight map and thought, why are we taking such a strange detour? It's not always about avoiding turbulence or saving fuel. The truth is, there are specific places on Earth where airplanes simply can't, won't, or shouldn't fly. And the reasons are far more fascinating than you'd imagine. In this video, we're diving into the intriguing world of air travel to uncover why certain areas are strictly no-fly zones. From geopolitical conflicts to bizarre natural phenomena, we'll explore the hidden rules that shape flight paths. By the end, you'll see your next flight map in a completely new light. Before we dive into the reasons planes avoid specific areas, let's talk about how flight paths are created in the first place. Believe it or not, designing a route for an airplane is a bit like solving a giant puzzle. It's not just about getting from point A to point B. It's about doing so safely, efficiently, and in compliance with international regulations. Every flight path is carefully calculated, taking into account weather patterns, air traffic, and even fuel costs. Airlines work closely with air traffic control organizations to map out these routes, ensuring minimal risk while maximizing efficiency. However, it's not always a smooth ride, literally. Airspace is also divided into different categories, some of which are completely off limits. These no-fly zones can be dictated by governments, geography, or safety concerns. For example, military bases often have restricted airspace to ensure national security, and certain natural features, like tall mountain ranges, can pose serious risks for navigation. What's fascinating is how these rules differ depending on where you are in the world. Some no-fly zones are temporary, like during major international events, while others are permanent fixtures on the aviation map. These invisible boundaries are the unsung heroes of air travel, quietly protecting passengers and crew every single day. One of the most common reasons planes avoid certain areas is safety, especially when it comes to geography. Take mountain ranges, for instance. The towering peaks of the Himalayas aren't just breathtaking, they're also incredibly dangerous for planes. At such high altitudes, the air is thinner, making it harder for engines to perform efficiently. Add in unpredictable weather patterns, and you have a recipe for turbulence that even the most experienced pilots prefer to avoid. Then, there's volcanic activity. Volcanic ash might look like harmless smoke from the ground, but in the air, it can wreak havoc on jet engines. A famous example is the 2010 eruption of Iceland's Eyjafjallajökull volcano, which disrupted air traffic across Europe for weeks. Volcanic ash clouds are almost invisible to radar, which makes them even more dangerous. And let's not forget the polar regions. While flying over the Arctic or Antarctica might seem like a shortcut, these routes come with unique challenges. The extreme cold can interfere with aircraft systems, and the lack of nearby airports makes emergency landings nearly impossible. Safety isn't just about avoiding the ground. It's about ensuring a smooth, efficient, and hazard-free journey through the skies. But geography is just one piece of the puzzle. While geography plays a major role, politics and conflicts add another layer of complexity to flight routes. Certain regions are declared no-fly zones due to political tensions, military activity, or even active conflicts. Flying over these areas isn't just risky, it's outright forbidden by international aviation authorities. For example, North Korea has one of the most restricted airspaces in the world. Aircraft are prohibited from flying through its territory due to the country's unpredictable political climate and lack of cooperation with international aviation standards. Similarly, conflict zones like Syria or Afghanistan are avoided because the risks of missile strikes or military activity are too high. Tragically, there have been cases where planes entered restricted airspace with devastating consequences. The 2014 downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 over Ukraine remains a stark reminder of the dangers. Straying into conflict zones can put passengers and crew at risk from ground-based weaponry, even if the flight path was thought to be safe. But it's not just about immediate danger. Some no-fly zones exist purely for political reasons, like the area over the Presidential Palace in Washington, D.C., or near Buckingham Palace in London. These are meant to protect national leaders and critical infrastructure. Politics can shape the skies just as much as natural barriers, but there's another surprising factor that keeps planes grounded in certain areas. Now let's dive into the more mysterious side of aviation: Magnetic anomalies. These oddities in the Earth's magnetic field can disrupt an aircraft's navigation systems, leading to unexpected detours. While most modern planes are equipped with advanced technology to compensate for these anomalies, some areas are still considered risky to fly over due to the potential for malfunctioning equipment. One of the most famous examples of a magnetic anomaly is the Bermuda Triangle, an area in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean. Over the years, this region has earned a reputation for mysterious disappearances of ships and planes. While many of these stories are exaggerated or remain unsolved, the Bermuda Triangle is known to have a higher than usual number of magnetic disturbances. These disturbances can interfere with a plane's compasses, which are vital for maintaining correct flight paths. While the Bermuda Triangle is often linked to strange and unexplainable events, other regions of the world, particularly near the poles, also experience these magnetic anomalies. In these places, pilots need to be extra cautious, as navigation systems may become less reliable, even for short durations. Though it might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, these magnetic quirks are a real concern for aviation, reminding us how mysterious our planet still can be. Now that we've covered the major reasons planes avoid certain areas, let's look at some real-life applications and fun facts that show just how impactful these no-fly zones are. For starters, did you know that avoiding conflict zones or dangerous regions can actually add thousands of miles to a flight? Take, for example, flights between the United States and Europe. Due to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, many airlines have had to reroute their flights to avoid Eastern Europe, making their journeys longer and more costly. Even with modern technology, these detours are necessary to ensure passenger safety. Another surprising fact: the longest detour on record was a flight from Dubai to San Francisco, which added an extra 2,000 miles to its route, all because of political airspace restrictions. While that might sound like an inconvenience, it's just one of the many behind-the-scenes adjustments airlines make to keep travelers safe. And it's not just about avoiding bad weather or conflict zones. Some airlines go as far as adjusting their flight paths to minimize their carbon footprint. This is why you might see some flights taking slightly longer routes that seem unnecessary at first glance. So, the next time you're on a flight and glance at the in-flight map, remember, those detours aren't just about avoiding turbulence. They're a complex mix of safety concerns, political boundaries, environmental protection, and even magnetic anomalies. The skies are full of hidden rules that keep us all safe, even when we don't see them. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's the strangest thing you've ever noticed on a flight map? Or maybe you've flown through a no-fly zone without even realizing it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this dive into the mystery of flight paths, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow travel enthusiasts. Thanks for flying with us. Until next time.